Now I will explain to anyone who's interested in theory behind sheet-to-tiller steering. I will explain how my system works, or rather how the system that I have pretty much copied from a lot of very knowledgeable people who have very kindly shared their knowledge on the internet. And you'll have to excuse my camera movements because I'm not a cameraman. Anyway, here's the theory of it. That's the Genoa sheet, and that's where I want to get the steering power from. That's where I want to get the power that makes the boat bear away. So the Genoa sheet, I'll try to focus. The Genoa sheet is held entirely, at least on this, because this is a beam reach, it's held entirely by the control line. It's not on the winch at all. Anyway, that's the control line holding the Genoa sheet, which runs all the way back via a block that gives it twice the play and takes away half of its power. Because there's a lot of power, obviously there's going to be a lot of power in the Genoa sheet, and you don't want all of it. So there it goes. It takes away half the power, doubles the play, and when it reaches my next device, which is an aft-pointing tiller, it pulls the tiller in a manner so that the boat will... When it does that too much, it's balanced by this surgical tubing. And here is where I hope eventually, when I perfect my system, not my system but this system, here is where I hope to be fine-tuning the course on this aft-pointing tiller right here by moving these knots up and down these two aluminium bars that I've put together. I just put this together with using pop rivets and aluminium, and hopefully by moving these, which is a pain in the ass because they're really, let's see if I can do this for you, they're really hard to move. Now, like that. That gives more power to the surgical tubing, so that theoretically that should make the boat want to luff up now, which it does. As you can see, I've upset, when I started this film I was on a perfect equilibrium of balance on a course, and I've upset that equilibrium now. I'll try to put it back on, find it again. And what did I do? Did I put that one forward? Try to... So I'm giving less power to the surgical tubing, which gives more power to the control line. You might ask yourself now why this control line will actually behave the way it does. And the theory is, and again I'm not taking credit for any of these, the theory is that as the boat luffs up and as the apparent wind becomes stronger, the tension in the sheet will increase. And that happens when the boat luffs up for any reason, because of a wave or some jawing movement. But it also happens when the wind increases momentarily and it's going to force the boat to luff up. The tension in the main sheet also increases and it'll pull... Where are we now? It'll pull on the control line, connected directly to the sheet via my little blocks that I can't focus right now, and to the aft pointing tiller. That's the idea of it. And I'm going to let you in on some of the things that really annoy me about this whole thing. And one of them is that I know how the theory works, and I know for a fact that my system is in fact working, because I have the wind almost on the quarter, and there is just no way that my boat or any boat that I know of would rely on natural core stability on this point of sail. So I know for a fact that the system is working, it is correcting itself. I can see the movements on the tiller, and obviously I can notice that we're heading in the direction where we want to be heading. But I really wish that it would have been slightly more obvious, because when I look at the Genoa sheet running through the sheeting point, it's practically not moving. So this really, and all you people out there who know so much and who are so happy to comment, please tell me why is this working? Because the Genoa sheet is, well, it's moving, but it's moving half an inch, or less, much less than that, back and forth. And sure enough, the movement is doubled by my little tackle, but that wouldn't explain. So what I have is a system that obviously corrects itself, but I don't know why it does it, and that leaves me in a precarious situation, because if I don't know why it's working, I won't be able to perfect it. So please come to my aid and tell me, what am I seeing? We're on a beat now, on a reciprocal course from where we were just sailing, where we had the beam reach, and I'm going to have another go at showing the system and the theory of it. Now, the wind is going to be howling in the camera, in the microphone, as soon as I get out there, but I hope that, well, I think it will at least. But here we are. Now, I couldn't connect the Genoa sheet entirely, the entire load of the Genoa sheet, to the control line, because that would mean breaking something, since we're on a beat. So what I've done is I've taken out, I can't see it from this angle actually, I'm going to try to better angle it. Can I? Maybe from this. I've taken out a tiny portion of the tension in the Genoa sheet by pulling on the sheet. It's pretty much like you'd pull on an arrow, on a bow. And I'm now relying on that tiny pull to work its way through that block back to the familiar block that halves the power and doubles the play of it that I showed you earlier on the other film, to the tiller, the aft pointing tiller. And at this point you may well say that, well, anyone can make his boat self-steer on when you're beating, because the boat's so well balanced anyway, and in fact that's where I am a little bit concerned, because although we are heading nicely in the direction where we want to go, and we're keeping a very steady course, I'm very happy. Although we are doing that, I cannot determine whether it's down to natural core stability or if it's the sheet-to-tiller system that does it for me. How can I find out? Well, one One thing that really indicates that my system is doing nothing for me and the natural core stability is doing everything is again the problem that it doesn't seem to be moving. It's completely still. Sure enough, there is a little play in the whole system because of these lines that run back, and I can see that the entire block moving a bit like this. But that wouldn't count for the whole steering, would it? I don't think so, at least. But the fact remains, we are moving along nicely. And I doubted that natural core stability could do this. At least I thought, oh, there you go. Now let's see what happens. Now this is the one thing that I believe is not down to sheet to tiller steering. We did luff up and we came too far up, and what happens then, if I'm correctly informed, is that the main sheet to bear away by itself. That's what just happened. We don't want that to happen if we set up the sheet to tiller steering properly, because that indicates that the boat relies on the core stability of the sails. We don't want that. We want the system to react long before that happens. How can I do that? We're luffing up too much, and if we are, it's because the luffing part of the system, which is this one, it's too powerful. So I'm going to take away a bit of power from it. I'm going to move it about an inch. Now see what happens. Are we still going to luff up like we did just now? I wonder if. It seems we're on our way, we're luffing up definitely, but I think that the system, the self-steering, is actually reacting the way it should be. It's actually reacting before the natural core stability kicks in, which, if that's true, then I'll be very happy. Obviously this is where I'm hoping that I will have my control center of this whole thing. I'm hoping to set everything up so beautifully balanced that I can fine-tune my core setting right here with these ones. But I need to come up with another way to do this, because they're really a pain in the arse to move. And sometimes you just can't move them. And this one is so rigid, it's virtually stuck. And in order to move this, I need to take the tension out of it, which I almost can't do. But if I manage to do that, then I'll upset the balance of the system while doing it, so that's no good. I want to be able to move these, fine-tune the system with these, with just a little tiny screw or something. And here is where some engineer might come in and come up with something intelligent for me.